All right, here we go. It is the Nightcap live version, surprise live version of the Nightcap, right here on BearcatJournal.com, brought to you, as always, by our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic, or get down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up, save yourself 15% off of your order. Hi, Dave.
Hello.
What a day.
It feels like just another day, if we're being honest.
Yeah, but it doesn't. This stuff is supposed to be slow. It's supposed to happen behind the scenes. It's supposed to be a surprise.
Not anymore.
I'm pretty sure Jason Shearer was just sitting in on everything that was happening.
It was definitely a wild morning. The
Pac-12 was saved this morning. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. We're good.
Okay, so it was hilarious because there were certainly, if you were paying attention, there were people that I trust. I mean, Dan Wetzel, Ross Dellinger, Pete Thamel, Nicole Auerbach, they're not just going to go with one person telling them that, things might be okay. So, you could say, mainstream college football media do better, but, I feel like it was maybe just moving so fast that they were getting info after things had already changed.
Right.
Because and I think it was James, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Crapia. I think he works for the Oregonian, covers Oregon. He put a post out today about Washington, and this is getting really in the weeds, and I don't even know if I'll get it all correct, but basically saying they have $8 million debt payments coming on all these things, just like you see that they've spent money that they don't have to stay in these arms races, and in UC's case, spent all this money to get into the Big 12. Well, Washington has some of these debts coming due for $8 million over the next couple years, and then I want to say he said something to the effect of a couple years after that they go to $16 million, and there was just no way they were going to sign the deal with Apple and the Pac-12. They would have been losing money. They would have had to fire people. They weren't going to sign it. So this whole idea that this is some last ditch effort, and that these schools were going to stay together because of tradition made no sense. And, Brett McMurphy, I feel was pretty on top of things. I think one tweet that he put out, during this whole back and forth chaos was his source. Nothing has changed. Nothing's changed. These schools, these schools aren't going to all of a sudden agree to a $24 million, virtually 100% streaming television deal. So
that stuff, it didn't make any sense. There was no logical reason that everybody was just you know what? We saw that yesterday, and all of us decided it was time to, look out for ourselves. And then we slept on it, and we were you know what? We're okay.
The whole thing has made no sense. So I wasn't going to put it past them. To me and you, it makes no sense, but we seem to have been looking at this pragmatically and logically when several entities in the Pac-12 have not. So yeah, to me would have made no sense, but I would not have been totally surprised. I would have been like, wow, I can't believe they actually signed this shitty deal. But it wouldn't have surprised me that if they actually did.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It would have surprised me.
The surprising part would have been the whole 48 hours ago, you guys were all prepared to leave. Nothing's changed, and now you're going to stay. Like that would have been would have been like, what are we doing? Like, what are you doing? Like then you deserve each other, and whatever comes your way.
Right. Like everybody knew what was happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's wild.
But anyway, I mean, let's obviously we're coming on now to talk about the day, but also it is now official. Arizona State, and Utah will join the Big 12 for the 2024-2025 season. It's obviously still very, very, very new. So no details really that I've seen so far on how they're going to make this money work, because we've heard various things of ESPN is okay with the pro rata, but the Fox part maybe not. We've heard that maybe they were good for it for 14, but not 16. I've heard Brett McMurphy say today with 365 Sports Guys that he's not sure how they're going to make it work, but he's been told that they're going to make it work. They're going to get the full share when they join. We'll see how that goes. I also find it funny that Oregon and Washington are going to go to the Big 10 and basically get Big 12 money until their next TV contract.
Yeah, they're getting $30 million with $1 million extra per year until 2030, 31.
And they'll borrow money against future earnings, so they'll end up getting more. But it's still funny because that just paints an even darker picture of how bad the Pac-12 deal was, because your baseline was that right. And you couldn't even get that. So yeah, it's I just look at this 2 year. I mean, obviously we have next year, this whole year, and then the other 3 schools join, but it's like in a 2-year time frame, we're going to be going from playing a schedule in football and basketball that we dreaded talking about on a weekly basis to a schedule that has, I mean, arguably 2 of the 10 premier college basketball teams, the 2-time defending Pac-12 champion in football, a national champion participant in football last year. Like, it's a total 180. I'm thrilled. I know that some Utah fans have not exactly painted themselves in the brightest of lights, but but that's
fans. That's fans are gonna fan.
And fans are gonna fan. And I mean, I understand. They were in the Mountain West 12 years ago. They've gone to the Pac-12, and they've now started to dominate it in football. And they probably look at this as going back to a similar situation. It's not, but they might look at it that way.
It's deeper than that. They don't want any association. They don't want to be associated with BYU,
and they don't want to be. They don't want to feel like the Big 12 wanted BYU, whereas now it's like the Big 12 is saving them.
Right.
So I get it. Arizona fans seem to be thrilled. Obviously, I mean, their bread and butter is basketball. I know they're doing better in football, and Jed Fish seems to have things going in the right direction. But they look at this as our basketball program is saved.
Yeah.
And Arizona State fans, I'm not sure about them very much. All I know about them is that their president seems like a total moron.
Apparently, the academic of all academics, their academics have improved dramatically under his watch. But that man does not know sports.
Well, I've heard some pretty rough things about their facility. I think they're going to come in and go pretty much to the bottom of the conference pretty quickly in football and basketball.
I'm shocked that Bobby is still there.
That he hasn't figured out a way to get out.
Yeah, that he hasn't done the whole take a lifeline
The,
somewhere else.
the Oliver Purnell, like start my clock over
The
again.
Brian Gregory, like,
Yeah.
okay, it's time to get the hell out of here.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's the thing. Like, I know it's a message board. That's what we talk about. Fans, our fans going back and forth. I want this team. I'd rather have this team. Like, if you're asking me, yes, I'd absolutely want Utah. Like, the point is to have premier programs in your conference. Like, I'm just not going to really bitch and moan about who's added after we've bitched and moaned for 14 or however long it's been about who's been in our conference. I'm not going to turn around and be that guy that's like, these guys aren't good enough, or these fans are too uppity, or like,
unless they added ECU, and then I would be like, look, you got to draw a line somewhere.
Right. But I mean, it's like I said, I mean, we're going to be. I mean, you could have a home football schedule next year because we didn't play any of these teams that features TCU, Kansas State, Utah. Like, I mean, it's a big difference from Tulsa, Temple, and South Florida.
This also is something that's going to be, I think, super fun in that, like, every year you kind of knew what your football schedule was going to be until there becomes some rhyme or reason to this. Like, who the hell knows? Like, you're just waiting for it to drop.
Well, yeah, because now it's 16 teams. Are you doing? You're probably not. No one seems to want to make that jump. The Big Ten might have to now because of 18, but they can't even really like do that with 18 teams.
Until they get Clemson and Florida State.
But it's like, do you do 6? Do you do 3 permanent crossover, like 3 permanent quote unquote rivals and 6 crossovers? Do you do 2 and 7? Do you do just 1 and 8? Like,
I would love, like, I think 2 and 7 is probably.
I want, like, from a UC standpoint, I want 1 and 8. I just want to play West Virginia and then rotate all the others.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be West Virginia and Central Florida.
Which I'm fine with. But like, so, but we don't know. So it's fun to think about that. But no, it's just it's a totally different. We're in a totally different world now. I mean, we don't know we don't know what's going to happen with the ACC, but it certainly looks like the Big 12 is putting themselves in position to at least, be as ready as they can as things. Because I mean, let's be real, we don't need to get into like scenarios 10, 12 years down the road, but
sure,
there's certainly one less major conference now, and one of the other major conferences has one of its 2 most high-profile programs telling everybody that wants to hear that we're going to leave.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
That's the ACC is another whole interesting factor because where are they going to go? Like, the spots are getting gobbled up pretty quick.
That's the thing. Like, you can say you want to leave and you can figure out a way to get out of the greater rights, but you still have to have someone that wants to take you.
Yeah.
And maybe they do. Maybe they do feel like the Big Ten or the SEC will take them. But here's the thing: if they figure out a way to get out, well, then doesn't that mean everybody can get out? And then I think there's other schools that are ahead of them on. Maybe they end up getting into one of the 2. But like we talked about it. I think we talked about it Wednesday. Like, I don't think they're a top choice for either league. I think it's a battle royale for Virginia and North Carolina.
Yeah,
and
those
then
are the top. I think those are clearly the top 2 brands.
And then maybe like a Clemson, Miami, or Florida State is next. But
I couldn't see the SEC taking Clemson. Like, South Carolina would like lose their damn
same
minds.
thing with Florida though.
Yeah, but I mean, Florida's a lot bigger than South Carolina. Like, you can have 2 exist in Florida. South Carolina.
Florida's also a charter member. South Carolina is not.
True.
And for the youngins, South Carolina, Florida State, UC, Louisville, Memphis, shared some old Metro days.
Many old Metro days.
Yeah.
Many.
But
it's wild.
Like, it's just crazy to sit here and be like, Oklahoma and Texas, thank you. Like,
but here's the thing that, so I guess the reality is that the Pac-12 never had a deal.
No. I mean, they do. They have that, whatever this Apple deal is. I mean, but
that was supposed to expire today.
Well, but they have it. They had a deal, but Oregon and Washington were never going to sign it. So theoretically,
I don't think Arizona was ever going to sign it. Not at that level.
Not if their president stuck to the things he said. I mean,
right? He made it very clear.
But people go back on their their words all the time. He can just simply say circumstances changed.
Sure.
I'm not holding him. That's something that I think politicians. They're the only people that are never allowed to change their mind on anything. You said this in 1978. But I just don't think there was any way Oregon and Washington were just going to keep the thing going until they found a way to get into the Big Ten.
Yeah. And then, as soon as Colorado left and the deal was bad.
And they would have kept it. They would have kept it going. This is my opinion. They would have kept this whole thing going, which then would have eventually had Arizona be like, we can't wait anymore. We're going to leave.
Yeah.
Which then would have given them, then probably the Big Ten stuff starts up again. I just think it's crazy that the Big Ten is doing this so quickly when I just don't know, do they have to have those two?
I don't think so.
I guess I would take them if I'm paying them 50% of what I'm paying Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, you are getting them at an incredible discount.
Yeah. So, but it's wild. I mean, Conference of Champions. I mean, what's going to become of it?
They have to those four schools have to try to sell the Mountain West on we own the name. So just come be in the Pac-12.
Just absorb the Mountain West into the Pac-12.
I mean, I guess you could punt if there's a couple teams you don't want to be associated with. I don't know. You add SMU and Tulane and Rice. Really, that's what we're doing to hold up the academic standard or whatever, whatever they claim that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Because that's the thing about when you talk about the Pac-12 and the Mountain West, the academics do not.
Oh, no, not even close.
That's Harvard and East, West, North Central Community Junior College in comparison. It's not crazy that Oregon wanted in the Big Ten so bad that they refused more money from the Big Ten.
No, because it's a 50-year move. They're going to make it up tenfold,
right,
in their next contract.
And by the time that contract hits, who knows? It could be $100 million a school.
Yeah.
I don't know that word, Jeff. Do you know that word, Dave?
Defenstration?
Yeah, I don't know what that means, Jeff. You're way smarter than us.
I'm not sure.
I'm not either. Thoughts on, okay, let's get to the other part of this. Jason Shearer, who actual realignment guru. Dan Simon is a thing because there was never any actual realignment gurus, right? It was making fun of the fact that everybody acted like they were a realignment expert, but they had no clue what was happening in realignment. Jason Shearer, well done, sir.
Yeah, he's got a good connection somewhere.
I don't know what it is, where it is, how it works, but I can tell you, if there's ever been a definition of a realignment expert, it has been him over the past 12
Arizona football just put out a tweet 15 minutes ago that has a jersey with 24 on it, and with it from the back of the player as he's putting on his helmet, and it has a Big 12 sticker on the back of the helmet.
No way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Thoughts on Gonzaga and UConn as basketball members? Because that's the next thing that Jason Scheer said is that Klyakov is probably going to get permission to go to 18.
Well,
he's
the second person. He's the second person I've seen tonight say that they've already voted on giving him, like they've already voted on going to 18. The guy that runs the TCU site on 24/7 has an article out tonight saying that he's been told that they voted tonight to authorize a move to 18.
Right.
Basketball only? Fuck yes, let's go. Like, turn this thing into the SEC of basketball.
Yeah.
Like, if you really, like, we can say, like, I can say that I maybe don't agree with it, but like, if that's what Brett Yormark thinks, that I can split these up and I can legitimately sell basketball on its own, then yes, absolutely. Have an 18-team basketball conference. Is it wonky? Yeah, it's fucking wonky. But guess what? Oregon is now going to play in New Jersey. Like, literally, is about as far as Seattle, Washington to Piscataway, New Jersey. The whole geography thing, the name thing, it doesn't matter anymore. So just get the best brands you can get and put something together.
Yeah.
And if you think that you can sell basketball on its own, then I would think adding Gonzaga and UConn would make that more valuable. Because you're not going to get, I mean, who else are you going to, you're not going to get anybody else that could do that.
That is a legit national brand.
That could come with just basketball.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I'm still skeptical that there's true value in a basketball only television contract, but if you feel that that's a thing that you can do, then yeah, go get them.
Yeah. That basketball league. Oh my goodness. What? 18 games. You have one crossover and you play everybody else once.
Yeah, I mean, how did it work when we were in the Big East? I don't remember.
They had 16 games. I think there were, what would it be? So 16 games. I think that was still a 16-game schedule.
Yeah. So
15, you had one crossover and then everybody else once.
Well, maybe, I mean, do you go to a 20-game conference schedule?
Potentially. I mean, well, you go 20, you only have 18 teams. So that's 18 games, and then one crossover would be your 19th and 20th, like two crossovers, 19 and 20.
I don't know.
Or no, 17 games.
17, right? So you play three teams twice.
Yeah. Yeah. I went to public school in Kentucky, man.
I mean, and that might be the thing, I don't know, that works because you could do like a UC plays Arizona and Arizona State twice, and they when they go out there, they just play them back to back or something.
Right.
So you're not having as many like just one-off trips.
Or you just have a set through, like, these are the three teams you play twice, or like,
yeah.
It's West Virginia, UCF, and UConn.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I don't know how close we are to that. I don't know but I mean, the guy went to IU. He loves basketball. We know he wants to do something.
He ran the Nets
outside of the norm, outside of the, what we would call norm with basketball. So
yeah,
at some point he's going to trade on the equity that he has built. At some point he's going to go, look, you guys lost Texas, you lost Oklahoma. I came in, I got you a TV deal. I got you 4 more teams that I told you I was going to get. I got them. We're at 16. We're stable. Now let me do this thing with basketball. So I think, I think that's coming. I think, and he has every right to do it, in my opinion. Like
Sure.
this conference, the conference,
he's the big swinging dick at the Cracker Factory right now.
The conference could have been dead if the Pac-12 had any idea what they were doing.
Sure, it should have been dead.
Right.
They were on life support.
So,
and the Pac-12 pulled
I don't
know if we're shopping there yet.
Iowa State and Kansas State and some of these Oklahoma, like some of these other places, should basically just be like, yeah, you can kind of do whatever you want, pal.
Yeah. Like, you win.
Thank you, GMAC.
Yeah, I'll let you answer that one. I'll be back in 1 second.
GMAC, thank you for the donation. This conference would be perfect with the additions of Pitt and Louisville. Hopefully that happens in the 2030s. Feel blessed to be in the Big 12. I agree. This is kind of what we talked about the other night is bigger is not necessarily better, but in that case, it would be better for UC, and that's all I care about. I mean, I would love to get to play those teams again and strike those rivalries up again, especially the Louisville one. I'm not prepared to even hazard an awful guess at what is going to happen in the ACC.
You weren't prepared to hazard a guess on the Pac-12, and they were nearing doom the past 3 months, 6 months.
Yeah, I just this stuff is nuts. I'm not, there's been too many people that have just emphatically and definitively staked their claim on certain elements of it that have not come anywhere close to becoming true. So, I mean, what's the point? I don't know anything. I've never once talked to anybody about realignment that would make me feel like I know anything that anybody else that has followed this knows.
Right.
So,
what about Virginia Tech?
Yeah. I mean, I think Virginia Tech, I think, would be a sneaky in the running for the big, I think that's an SEC play.
You think?
Yeah, I feel like whoever loses out on, if the SEC doesn't get Virginia, I think that Virginia Tech would be someone that they would be interested in.
They've always felt like an SEC.
Same thing with a North Carolina State if they didn't get North Carolina. The SEC wants new territory if they're going to expand.
Right.
When you're already the best and you already have flagship universities in states, you don't have to go double up. You would want to go somewhere new and use your clout as an SEC to build them to your level in a state that you haven't been before.
Right.
Let's see here. I do want to touch on Eric's comment about how can the NCAA deny any waivers, and not necessarily the waiver part of it, but
because they can.
Because they're terrible. But I do want to just tell whoever the next commissioner or AD or president or Charlie Baker with the NCAA, when the next time they get up there in Congress or wherever and they want to talk about transfer portal and NIL and inducements and student athletes and student athlete mental go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
You guys
you have all chased the money at every damn turn. Every turn.
Just greed and fear, and you're going to sit up there and lecture me about how we can't let the athletes get NIL money because they might transfer. Get out of here. It's so disingenuous.
Yeah.
It's so hey, look at this shiny object over here while the entire West Coast, I watch a shit ton of college football. The entire West Coast does not care, does not have anything worth watching now. Like a flag. We joke about the Pac-12 and George Playoff Cup, but like you have 110 years of tradition of a conference is just gone because whether
this is really Larry Scott. Like Larry Scott,
whether it's networks and it's tons of people's faults, but like it doesn't change
Larry
the fact
Scott's fault.
That the sport is worse. Like nobody can tell me today that the sport is better.
I don't really care that side of it. I don't really care.
No, and a lot of people don't. But I'm just saying, like, but don't lecture about these other things when you're letting all this other stuff happen.
Sure.
Like I don't want to hear you talk. I don't want to hear Mac Brown talk about players getting money to try to transfer at this a week before. Basically a whole conference just dissolves because they can't figure out a TV deal, and this guy
money's not there. They dissolve because the money's not there.
Right.
That's the whole reason.
It's not there because the networks have told these conferences who is valuable and who is not.
Correct. Well, and that's what we do with athletes too.
Well, yes, but the players are not getting paid. The players are not getting paid in this situation.
I'm on the same side as you. They're complaining about they're complaining about market value when it's all market value. All of it's sports. It's market value. There's billions of dollars at stake. Everything is market value. Yeah. Hi, G-Mac. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, like, at the same time, like I don't like it as someone who watches a ton of football and I just don't like the mechanics of it, how the sausage is being made. But at the same time, like if you don't care because all you care about is UC, and UC's in 1,000% better spot than they were a year ago.
Can you imagine being in SMU or Memphis right now watching this happen?
I mean, just take me out back. If you're truly like a diehard, like you got no shot at this point.
Yeah. What is your lifeline now? You're going to go join Cal, Stanford, Washington State, and Oregon State?
I mean, if we really want to get in the weeds of it, and I think this is still a decade or so away, but like, I don't know if it's going to matter for UC or not. But be glad that you're in Cincinnati, Ohio, and not in Bloomington, Indiana, or West Lafayette, Indiana, or Starkville, Mississippi, because it's coming. It's coming. They're going to consolidate. They're going to eat their own.
You think? You really think You really think they're going to punt on Vandy and IU and college towns? Oregon is joining the Big Ten. Yeah. So you can't tell me that like that's not a possibility. I'm not saying it's not a possibility. I just don't know
that they're going to be told the value is in these programs. You need to get these programs together.
Sure.
I mean, will it happen? I have no earthly idea. Could I see it happen? I mean, after what we've seen happen in the last 2 years, are you going to tell me that there's no chance that happens?
2 days, Dave. 2 days. Like, I totally get. There is 1,000 logical reasons that the SEC and the Big Ten went Texas, Oklahoma, USC, UCLA. Yeah. 1,000 logical reasons.
For sure.
1,000. Those are easily four of the biggest brands in all of college sports.
Yeah.
We have not seen. Who's the last team to get punted? Temple?
Oh, yeah. Temple's
the last team to get punted.
Yeah.
So I know theoretically it is coming. Boy, that's going to be that's going to have to be a commissioner with big balls. That's going to say you've been with us for 75 years, 80 years, 100 years.
It's not going to be the commissioner. It's going to be ESPN telling them, like, you want this? Okay. We only want to pay. We only want to pay.
ESPN's going to take the blame?
Well, no, they're going to say, we only want to pay for these schools.
Yeah, and the
How
commissioner's going to have to fall on the sword.
How you figure it out is not our problem. Do you want the television deal or not? Because we ain't paying for those schools anymore. Because they're not bringing anything to our party.
You know what? You know what's wild about this? There probably couldn't be a better time for the Reds and Bengals to be relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of a sudden, Cincinnati's a lot more fun right now.
Yeah, I mean,
it is not like sports.
Because let's be honest, if this turned into a draft all of a sudden tomorrow, and there was a commissioner of college football, and he just said, okay, the Pac-12 is gone. We have the ACC, the Big Ten, the SEC, and the Big 12, and that equals, I don't even know what that equals. It equals 60-something-ish teams.
Yeah.
And the commissioner just said, okay, I've been told by Fox and ESPN and NBC and CBS that we need to just take this down to 48 schools.
12 per conference.
12 per conference, and we're basically gonna make an AFC and an NFC. If there's a redraft, who do you think? Do you think Purdue's going high? Do you think Indiana's going high? Do you think Boston College
might?
Do you think Boston College is being part of it? Like,
Virginia Tech, no.
Oh, I think no, but I'm talking about like markets.
Well, you said ACC,
right? But I'm saying like Wake Forest, see ya.
Yeah.
Like the markets and the fan, like that plays.
It does.
So
I see a lot of the stuff like it's going to be at 30. I can't see college sports at 30 teams. I can't.
I mean, that would
There's
just be
too many. There's just more than 30 established teams.
Like 2 leagues, basically.
Yeah, that's what everybody thinks is it's going to be Big Ten, SEC, and there's just not going to be anybody else left at that point. I don't see that because, like the pro leagues that built up to 30, they had to build up to 30. They started at 12 and went to 16 and 20.
And the other problem is our general cultural personality would not fight it. They would just go, okay, yeah, whatever. You know, remember? I don't know. I'm not a huge soccer person, but they tried this in the England, I think, with like the Super League. And
the Super League. Yeah,
the fans just revolted. Like, I don't see fans revolting. They'll just be like, whatever. Like,
but I do kind of see in college. I see like if there are like, and this is where this is coming from. Like you said, 48. I think that might be a good working number. Like 4 leagues, 12 teams. Like I think that could work. But if you try to go to 30 or something in like the pro spectrum,
well, I mean, they can't even go to 30.
People are going to revolt. They're going to revolt.
They've already got 34 teams just in those 2 leagues.
I know. That just the sensibility in me says we're not going to let college sports get to 30 teams. I don't see them.
I can't use like someone on the board the other day said something about like long-term security, and I was like, I don't think I can use college athletics and long-term security in the same sentence right now. And it's the same thing with that. Like, I can't use sensibility and college athletics in the same sentence right now.
I know. I get it. I do, and I'm probably going to be wrong. And trust me, the minute I think that I'm wrong, I'm jumping ship. I'm not going down with the boat like some of these people have done. Like, literally, there are people that threw their careers away this week. Just threw them away. Just not the inability to read the room. There are people that had respect and were believed to be connected and relevant, and they were just connected and relevant to the wrong people, and they stayed on that ship until the ship sank. I know, I love Justin. I love the Athletic. Stuart Mandel, nobody's going to have faith in him ever again.
All right.
Canzano, Wilner. I feel bad for Wilner. Wilner's the guy that broke USC and UCLA to the Big Ten. Like, that's a big-time journalist. That's a guy with a legit, resume.
I put him in a different category than Canzano.
But he still was pumping sunshine for months and months and months and months. I do put him in a different boat than Canzano.
I mean, Kazana wrote an article today talking about lawsuits. It's like, did you not have any frame of reference to like when Bob Bowlesby literally called ESPN out? Like,
right.
if there was if nothing came of that, I'm pretty sure
coming of anything.
Nothing's coming of your idea of like,
no.
If Oregon, if the Pac-12 could prove that Oregon and Washington were talking to Fox and ESPN or whoever, like.
Well, that's a great question, Jason. Who told the national guys that things changed overnight to keep the Pac-12 together?
I mean, that's the thing.
Oregon State, Washington State.
But that's the thing is like, I can't imagine that. That's the hard part I have with all this is like Pete ran with it.
I know. Somebody
Ross Dellinger, Pete.
The people that are actually trusted and reputable.
Yes, who you think have the actual sources, like not
right.
They're not getting fed bullshit from the
guys that are in danger, like the guys
Washington
that are
State, the Washington State president.
Endangered species is where Wilner and Kazama were getting their information.
I mean, they all took it. So it's like part of me is like, be better, but then another part of me is like, well, I mean, maybe it was true, but things just move so fast. But I would have been so hesitant to be like, how all of a sudden?
I just wouldn't have reported it.
How all of a sudden did this temperature of this change where, literally 48 hours ago, Arizona was like, peace out. And now all of a sudden.
No, 4 hours ago, Arizona was like, peace out. And then all of a sudden you wake up in the morning and now they're going to stick together. Like, was there really, I guess really the question is, like, was there really a concern that Washington and Oregon were just going to say, look, that's not enough money. We can't come to the Big Ten. That's where the doubt crept in, I think.
I mean, they're not taking that much more.
Well, was the difference like being able to take loans against future earnings? What changed it?
The difference is being a part of the conference the next go around.
Yeah, right. So you can take, but I'm saying
because
the Big Ten maybe come back to the table and say, look, you're going to get a shit ton of money in 30-31. So like, if you need to borrow $10 million, like it's great. That's fine.
And I even heard Brett McMurphy talking about it, where he was told by a source that sometimes in those situations when it comes back around, they don't even ask for the money back.
Right. They're just like, no, we're good.
Because here's the thing. If they would have they had to go to be a part of the next contract, because what happens if they didn't? The ACC blows up and those schools take their spot.
Right. Now all of a sudden it's Virginia and North Carolina instead of Oregon and Washington.
But
I don't think that's as much money as you think, Matt.
I mean, they've donated $1 billion to Oregon.
But most of it's not athletic.
Well, no, it's spread out.
The university.
I mean, they can pretty much get whatever they want, though.
Sure. Sorry if I missed it, but could the shares per team potentially go up?
Not in this contract.
Yeah. Not in the one that starts in 2025, I don't think.
No, they don't have the ability
to reopen.
One because the properties that let's be honest, the properties they're adding just don't bring added value. And two, the media companies in their current situations are like, ESPN and Fox are not going to be like, oh yeah, we signed you to this $31 million deal for the next 6 years, which will obviously go up each year a little bit. I mean, it's not stagnant. They're not going to go, oh yeah, let's go ahead and renegotiate. We'll give you 40 now.
This is an interesting one too. Florida State announced today they're taking loans from private equity funds.
I mean, you want to go down that road? I mean, they might. They could be a Ramco Stadium here pretty soon, and for those that are familiar with the Live Golf PGA Tour thing,
Yeah.
a Ramco Stadium with the Bonesaw Classic. I mean,
here's $1 billion. We own you.
It's not something that I'd be exactly fired up to get.
Yeah, but guess what? Everybody's doing it. Everybody's getting a little of that sprinkle, drip, drip, Dave.
That's not the kind of sprinkle, drip, drip that buddy. As Phil Mickelson said, there's some bad guys.
Yeah, some real bad guys.
No, Norbert, it won't go down. Everybody.
No, they won't go down. It's just not going to go up. They're just going to add the Power 5 school. Like, that was the deal. And there is some question about that, like on Arizona State and Utah, that the deal was up to 14, as long as you add Power 5 schools, that they'll be, grandfathered in to the deal that we already made. Now they're going to 16. Are Arizona State and Utah going to be given full shares like Arizona and Colorado? We'll see. Like, there are still questions to be answered on this. But
it sounds like they are.
Yeah, it sounds like they are, but we don't know that for sure.
Where exactly that's coming from? Are they being made whole from?
I'm not reporting it. Are you?
No. Are they being made whole from Oklahoma, Texas exit fee money?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I would have loved it if Yormark was like, "Nah, you guys put up a pretty big stink here. You're going to come in at a lower number for a little bit."
Right? Like, you two kicking and screaming? No, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
You can have 12, 15 for the first go. We'll give you the 20 that you were going to get.
Yeah, we'll just give you what you were going to get.
Yeah.
And put all your games on ESPN Plus.
Oh, shit. You got anything else?
I mean, I was trading some messages with Dan earlier, and it sounded like he was thinking about, this was his swan song, but now this, possible authorization for a 17th and 18th. I mean, it's tough to quit the game when you're on top.
Maybe we'll talk to him Wednesday.
Maybe
maybe send him a text and say, "Hey, can you cut out some time for us Wednesday?"
Yeah. We'll see, but it's always a great day to be a Bearcat. But
it is. But now today is. It's nice to feel safe, somewhat safe.
Well, yeah. I mean,
never safe. Somewhat safe. Never safe. Never get comfortable in college sports.
It's in a much better place than we've ever been, and we haven't played a fucking minute of a single athletic competition in the Big 12.
Look, maybe my two favorite teams outside of UC going forward from now until eternity are Oklahoma and Texas. Thank you.
Horns up, baby.
We will see you Monday. Well, I'm sure Aaron and I will have a nightcap or two here over the next couple days, but we'll be around. You'll find us here. Camp tomorrow. You coming tomorrow, Dave?
No, we have soccer in the morning.
Okay. Monday night?
I'm going to try to be there Monday night, and then I hope to be there Friday, and definitely will be there Saturday.
Not going to really need you tomorrow. I think we've got me, Keegan, Reagan, Aaron. Like, I think we're good tomorrow. So don't fret tomorrow.
The Toucans have a big game tomorrow morning.
There you go.
And we do have an unfortunate. Before we go, real quick, we do have an unfortunate developing situation in the house.
What's that?
Will is obsessed with country roads right now.
Oh boy!
Like,
whose fault is?
I don't know. It's not mine. I mean, I love the song, but I'm not getting him hooked on it. But yeah, we might have
your brother, isn't it? Your brother went to West Virginia.
Yes.
No, he did this behind your back.
I mean, he lives in Utah.
I don't care. Like he's zooming with Will. He's FaceTiming with Will and playing Country Roads
It
subliminally.
might be a
in the
might be a
background.
wife thing. I think she has been singing it to him at night a long time, and now he's finally caught on to the words, and now he just wants it played. It's very funny. He wants that played in the car, and the Bengals Houday touchdown, like the old Houday song played.
Hear those Bengals growling,
Yep.
mean and angry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hear that podcast growling. That's
Well,
Paul's thing. That's where it comes from.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know that. But yeah, so he might have a junior Mountaineer on our hands.
Oh no.
And he's going to the game this year.
Oh no. I don't want to have to write Will off. I like Will, but I will. All right. Awesome show. Thanks to all of you that have popped in. One of our better crowds here recently. So thanks to everybody. We'll see you here in the next couple days. I'm sure there's going to be practice stuff tomorrow. Sunday's an off day, so we might take Sunday off. I don't know. We'll see. This is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.